We're going to start our budget workshop in about 2 more minutes. Dr. Wood, are you ready? Okay. It's 5:06, and we're going to start our budget workshop for August 26, 2025. The topic for discussion is the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Interim City Manager Ash.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, what you have before you tonight is actually a proposed budget for 25-26. It is a balanced budget. What this budget contains at this point is we did include the insurance cost in there, full cost. There are no projects in this. We stripped out all the funding for vehicles, projects, everything we could. There's a small amount of items we had to purchase, less than $20,000 as equipment to replace things that were actually broken that we could not do without. And then there's certain areas where we had budgetal obligations. I know there were questions about some items like the small increases in certain departments. Well, most of those increases had to do with increase in software cost or budgetary cost somewhere. Something had to be purchased, so the cost was going up, and so we had to increase a certain percentage just to cover that. But there's no increases to salaries. There's nothing in this budget that's not obligated against. the union costs are covered for both police and fire for the salaries and anything of that. We did take $500,000 out of the one reserve fund we have, which is the Hurricane Michael Reserve Fund. We had $2 million, which had been gathered at the time when we had a Hurricane Michael surcharge and put aside for big events, because that's what it's set up for. But to ask you to have a balanced budget, that was the only monies we could draw from. I know there's been talk about looking at pieces and parts of the budget in certain employees or certain items, but I'd be careful of that because, you got to remember you could be taking somebody out that's the only person that does a certain job or something we need to run the city. The city is already at a point where, we're short on manpower. We have a difficulty recruiting and maintaining employees. And so, that could put us in a very difficult situation. I don't see anything wrong with this solution, what we've done with taking the money in Hurricane Michael, because this is a crisis. The one thing this will allow the commission and the city staff to do, we know that if we don't do anything the rest of this year, next year is going to be as bad or as worse than it is now, which means we will actually rob against our last reserve and be heading down to nothing, city having nothing in reserve. We have talked about it one way, over the upcoming years, we need to really tighten spending down amongst the departments. Unfortunately, that'll mean, basically maintaining what we have. There'll be nothing new. We won't be able to look at new programs or anything for the city. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Commissioner Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be recognized for a series of questions on a couple of different items.
Yes. Are you ready for questions?
Thank you.
Yes.
The first issue I would like to find out about, back in July, I guess, early July, we were informed about the $2.2 million in accounts payables that we owe. Can I get an update on where we are with our accounts payables? And if we still have a 2 million plus accounts payables, how is that addressed in getting that paid for in this budget?
What you saw back in July, that is just a snapshot of one day. We get payables in on a daily basis, and we're cutting checks almost on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So a lot of those things that you saw then, they've been paid, and other invoices have come in. So that's just a snapshot in time, and not necessarily what we currently have in payables.
Okay, so how much do
many of those things have been moved off and paid as we ordinarily do all the time.
So what's our account payables today?
I would have to run, because like I said, we're getting invoices in every day.
I understand we're getting invoices in every day, but my point is we were $2.2 million in the hole that we owed electric companies and gas companies, and that didn't just materialize overnight. And I had asked for a report to try to explain how we got there, but that wasn't doable. But so I would like to get an update on the accounts payable. My next issue deals with CRA and TIF revenue. Can you tell me where in the budget the CRA TIF revenue is shown as being put into our budget? Because I see where it comes out of our budget.
It comes out in the non-departmental.
Where does it go in?
And it goes in, and let me get to that page. The revenue starts on page 80.
My page 8 shows city attorney.
80.
80, I apologize. Okay, so there's the revenue. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Our police dispatch center. We currently spend $255,000 in salary and $127,000 in benefits for our dispatch department. Now, our dispatch department does not take 911 calls. Those go to the sheriff's department, and then they have to transfer them to the city, unless it's fire. And then the sheriff's dispatch directs our fire to whatever those calls are. By having a dispatch that does not receive the 911 calls, I don't know why we have it, because it delays service to our residents. And I can give you a very real example of, and I'm just, you're up there, this isn't directed to you. A number of months ago, I was coming into town on King Street. I was at the red light at the Presbyterian Church on King Street, headed west. A vehicle in front of me proceeded across the street, driving down what are the parallel parking spots on King Street next to the church. He then stopped about 100 feet short of the red light on Bainbridge Highway. I followed that car through. It went through. It made it about halfway to the four-way stop at the high school and stopped in the middle of the road out in front of Bradford May's house and just sat there. Obviously, this driver was impaired. I called 911. That went to the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department routed me to our police department. I got on the phone with our dispatcher. Following the car the whole way, the car went all the way out past Piggly Wiggly on Highway 90. And once I got out there, our dispatcher told me, well, you're no longer in the city. You got to go call 911 again and get back to the county. And this car was all over the place. I called 911, got an operator, told her I was back, following this car. 10 seconds later, the car does a U-turn out in front of the old livestock area and came back into town, at which point the 911 operator, sheriff's department said, I got to get you back over to the city. So now I go back over to the city dispatch. And I follow this car down around back behind Talcott Electric and that neighborhood there until it turned and went down a one-way street that I wasn't going to go down. And I had been on the phone this entire time with two different dispatchers. None of them said they had a car on the way. And so, you know, we're going to have to make some hard decisions. And I say that in that I don't understand the need to have two dispatch centers when there's a dispatch center a quarter of a mile away from our office. And we need to look for cuts. I'm not happy about digging into our measly reserves that we have to balance this budget. And I would strongly suggest we look, take a deep dive at the dispatch center that we have and why we even need it. I also understand that we have an administrative assistant who serves as a victim's advocate. She's not a law enforcement officer, yet she's driving a law enforcement car. I don't understand why we're spending money on that. Finally, I'll get over to recreation. We're spending over $500,000 a year on our Parks and Rec department. And I'm looking at these revenues that it brings in. And it's not much. And I don't understand why some of these numbers, you know, QPRD concessions in '24, we budgeted $1,700. Our current budget year is $6,000, and the proposed budget is $5,000. If we only budgeted $1,799 for revenue in 2024, did we receive a lot more than that in 2025? Football, $1,240 actual budget in 2024, and we're now saying we're going to bring in $4,000. How much are we spending to upkeep the football stadium and that baseball park? That other than Biddy League football, I don't think anybody plays football out there now. We've, as the interim manager said, this year's bad, next year's going to be worse. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet and start taking care of things now. I don't understand why we're keeping a football field that is costing us money to upkeep. Maybe that needs to be sold to the school board and let them have it for whatever football they want to have out there. But Monroe doesn't have a football team anymore. They're not using it. Crossroads is building their own stadium. Who's playing there? And it can't be used for any FHSAA championship games or playoff games. Everybody has to travel because it doesn't qualify under FHSAA standards. So, these are some things that I think we seriously need to look at moving forward as we address this budget.
Can I make one clarification, please?
Sir?
Actually, that was kind of the gist of my intro was we do need to look at some of the things. Some of the city needs to be realigned. We need to look at the employees that are in some certain places. I know one of the ideas I've already passed along to the about recreation is doing a staffing change to get the right people in the right places that possibly could generate more interest in our recreation department. There are other departments that I believe need to be looked at and need to be streamlined. Is that since we've started this budget process now, this is all new, so we haven't had an opportunity to do it. So I can't come to you and say just cut this. I did say I believe that one of the areas we were heavy in was the police department, but I haven't had an opportunity to really go through it. Sit down with the chief, sit down with the union contract, and get a full understanding of what needs to be done and what we can do within the police department. So, that's why I suggested possibly the best route is actually to use the money this year and work towards that end throughout this next year.
I have several questions. Was our new rates for the garbage collection considered in the budget as well?
Added it as far as the rates being charged to customers, but I'm not sure they're added into the budget.
I don't believe those new rates are included in these revenue projections.
I agree that we need to properly streamline some places. Especially, we need to look at our customer service and the problems that we've had this year regarding our utility billing and those kinds of things. And I think the peer review spoke to some items that we need to immediately take care of in terms of staffing, errors, and other consideration. There was a very detailed report, and that report needs to be considered as we look at the budget and look at our staffing needs and look at what areas are important. I agree with something needs to be done about the police department and the dispatch unit, and especially since we have the county who has a full certified, trained dispatch unit, we need to probably consider how we can transfer those services there as well. Also, the victim advocate position, we lost funding for that. However, the state attorney's office, as well as the county, has an individual that does victim advocacy. And I don't know why we have to duplicate services.
Can I bring the police chief up to address some of these issues? He possibly could have the best answer for us this time.
Yes, sir. Whoever you need to help us to get an understanding of where we need to go with the budget.
Commissioners, good afternoon. Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Chief Hill.
All right. So let me address the communications. Mayor Pro Tem, we got the request that you sent out. There were about 20,000 calls for service from the time frame from September 1st to 31st of July. Out of the 20,000 calls, maybe anywhere between 7,000 to 10,000 of those were emergency calls where we actually pulled a report. For the combined dispatch, we made an attempt back when Chief Ashley was the chief to combine with the sheriff's office. We have a separate system. We use eForce. The sheriff's office used SmartCop. And so I talked with SmartCop to see if we can get some compatibility. And one of the quotes, the lowest quote I got was $191,000 to set it up. And then it was going to be like $45,000 a year to maintain. We have to maintain a 24-hour dispatch per FDLE and CJIS because we have what we call hot files. So if somebody come in and steal your vehicle, we have to maintain that record, and FDLE has to be able to contact us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to be able to let them people know that the vehicle was stolen. So for example, if somebody steals a vehicle out of Tallahassee on what we call e-agent, which is the NCIC, FCIC connection, it's going to send a message to the Quincy Police Department. We have to pull that report, verify it, and send it back to them and say, yes, that vehicle was stolen out of Quincy. So that's the reason why we have to maintain that. In order to combine dispatches with the sheriff's office, we had to come up with memorandums of understanding, and we had to have connection agreements and stuff, and it's a labor-intense thing that we have to set up. We tried it back in 2022, and the issue was that if we're going to do a consolidated dispatch for the whole county, that it needs to be independent from the sheriff's office. And so everybody walked away from the table. I recently had a meeting with all the chiefs of police here in Gaston County, and we were looking at some possible solutions of maybe combining some dispatches and save some money. But that's the reason why at this point in time, we have to have a communication system or communications department because we have to be able to field those calls. And as far as the victim advocate, that one, I know that she has a caseload that she works. She does not only the victim advocate stuff, but she also does injunctions for the county. I know the county has one, but she does other things outside of actually showing up on call. So, and she does stuff with the court. So that's the reason why we still have her. And I have the quote for SmartCop, and I'll be more than willing to provide it to everyone so you can look at it. Because we would have to get on that system because that's what the sheriff's office is using. All right.
Thank you, Chief Hill. Also, did we break out the role of the city clerk executive assistant in the budget? I don't think we did.
That position is included in the city clerk's budget at 96% of the salary and benefits, and the executive assistant portion is included in the city manager's budget at 6%. I think it's 96 or 94 and 6%.
I do have a question on the clerks. Is,
Okay, let me recognize
Okay.
Commissioner Wood. I barely saw your hand up, I'm sorry.
Could I just get some clarity on how we're going through the budget? Because we're just kind of going all over the place. Are we going to go from each department and get questions? Because I have questions probably on every single thing. We're just kind of flying off the cuff. I would like us to have an organized way of going through this budget, meaning each, if you don't mind, okay, starting at the beginning, and then when we have questions related to that, we can ask those questions then. Right now, I'm trying to flip through and see where people are talking from, and I really don't know where you're talking from. Give us a page number, tell us exactly what the issue is, but I think there needs to be some type of way that, how are we going to go through the budget, Mayor, if I may ask?
Well, that's up, since the finance director has control of the budget and the decisions, actions, she was leading the discussion in terms of what areas need to be taken care of. But I have no problem going page by page. I have no problem doing highlights of each area. I've asked for a narrative. There was, the narrative or a brief introduction was provided by the interim city manager. So there are a number of ways that we can approach the budget process.
Well, I think that the commission should direct the finance director as to the way she should go.
well-
Not her directing us, but that's my opinion. But
Well,
I'm going to
that's-
speak to Mr. Ash. I'm going to start with the reserve funds. Because that was one of the first things. So I was going to address it from your statement that you started with, not just jump right into the budget. So for me, let me just tell you how my pause about reserve funds. When I look at reserve funds, I look at it as a rainy day fund, so to speak. And when we start relying on reserve funds to balance the budget, it kind of gives me a little bit of pause. Because what happens when you don't have those reserve funds next year or the year after that? Sometimes you have to make hard decisions on cutting. We do know that there are probably some departments that can be combined. There are some that probably need to be phased out. That's not my call, but according to the budget, if I look at doing some of those things, we can recoup some funds. But if we don't have a replenishment plan, if we don't have a what happens and what if for next year, then we are taking considerable risk by going into these reserve funds. I just take it takes my breath away almost with this. So throughout this budget, there are some questions that I have, and once we figure out how we're going to go through the budget, then I'll bring those forth at that time. But I'm a little worried about going into the reserve.
Well, Commissioner, I agree. If you got questions on that for each one, that's probably the best way to do it, is start and just work through it. They give everybody an opportunity to ask questions in each division and make any kind of recommendation they might have.
Okay.
So you're going to take it away page by page?
Page by page. We
Okay.
can start with page 1, and that gives us an expenditure summary by fund, starting with the general fund, the CRA fund, business activity, which is a combination of customer service and a portion of the finance department is funded from business activity, and business activity is funded from transfers from all of the internal service or not internal service, enterprise funds, which is electric, gas, water, sewer, because those two departments handle a lot of the customer service and finances for those enterprise funds. Then we go with sewer, electric, water, gas, refuge, landfill, and our one internal service fund, which is our IT, information technology. The overall budget for the adopted budget for fiscal year 24-25 is $37,105,197. The proposed draft budget is $38,369,755, which is an increase of $1.2 million. And you see the variances by fund. The general fund is where most of the city's services outside of the enterprise funds, the water, sewer, electric, that's where all of the other city services are funded. And the variance over last year is $546,000 and $546,047. I see you have a hand raised. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the number that was concerning to me, the $38 million, given our finances for the city. And I was trying to look throughout this budget of the overall revenue that we are projected to bring in. Can you discuss that number with me?
Yes, when we get to, are you speaking of a particular fund or just the general fund?
Just the overall expected revenue. Because
There are two numbers that really is driving this $1.2 million. There is the $546,000 in the general fund, which includes all of our union contract increases, our increases for health insurance for the employees that are covered under the general fund, and any other minor increases, because there were only minor increases in the general fund. The other major piece is the CRA. We're bringing in funding from our CRA TIF funds, as well as bringing over some fund balances of funds that have not been spent over the years, and so we're appropriating that money in this budget, and that's a little over $832,000.
I guess I'm looking for a sheet of an overall revenue summary.
It is further in the packet.
You want to state the page?
General fund revenues begin on page 4.
Right, that was the $12 million. I think that was, yes, the $12 million.
That is correct.
So, my question is, how do we make up that difference from the 12 million to the expected expenditures of 38 million?
38 is the overall general fund budget. The general fund expenditures is only $12 million. So that 38 million includes the CRA fund, it includes the electric utility fund, it includes water, gas, sewer. So the overall budget is $38 million. The general fund's portion of that is only 12.
Commissioner, you got to remember, we're talking about different funds here. You got the enterprise fund, which are the utilities that make money and do a transfer of part of that money over to the general fund. The general fund is the general government overall, the police, fire, what the cities normally operate with, or city hall, and they use money out of the utility fund to supplement the general fund.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
It kind of doesn't, but, so, in other words, we won't know the expected revenue until the utility funds come in. That would,
We know what the expected revenues for the general fund, and that is $12 million. That includes our ad valorem taxes, any of our state share revenues that we receive. It also includes the transfer that the general fund receives from the electric fund, from the water, sewer, gas fund, and any of the other smaller enterprise funds. So they transfer a portion of what they make. They transfer it to the general fund to help cover those services that the general fund is paying for, because we could not fund everything in the general fund from property taxes or state share revenue. We don't have enough funding.
And on the enterprise fund, we can pretty much predict how much revenue we're going to make, because we're in a contract with Florida Power and Light, our SEPA agreement, and then we also have the Duke agreement. So we know how much our costs are going to be, because those contracts are still in place for this next year. We have to just look at the revenues as far as we don't anticipate any growth or any reduction in customers. Unfortunately, the good thing is if we knew there was going to be growth, we could add revenue in for that growth. But right now, our growth has been flat for years, so it should be about the same for the enterprise fund.
And that was my concern about the whole situation, the $38 million, and every year we keep saying there's not enough money to do different things throughout the city, different projects. And I just had the mindset, going back to, I think, what Commissioner Woods were trying to say, we have to take a serious look at cuts overall throughout this budget. And I just ran a 10% straight off the top for every department. I just wouldn't feel comfortable with expenditures over $35 million.
Again, a major portion of that increase from last fiscal year's budget to this fiscal year is that money that we're bringing into the CRA fund that has not been spent. That's $800,000 extra. It's there, it's the CRA's money, it's just in their fund balance. When you don't spend all of your money, it doesn't just go away, it falls into fund balance. And then in order to be able to spend it, you have to appropriate it in the budget, saying, hey, it falls, we'll call it a savings account. This falls into the savings account. And in order for us to spend it in the checking account, I gotta bring it into the checking account so that we can spend it. It's not the money that we're getting in TIF funds for this year. It's money that we have gotten in TIF funds in prior years. We just didn't spend it all.
Thank you.
Did that cover your answer, Commissioner Nutt? Commissioner Wood, your hand up.
Yes. Ms. Daniels, clarify what you just said about the CRA and the fund balance. Say it one more time for me.
Let's say if you get your paycheck, and your paycheck is, and I'm just going to give an arbitrary number, $1,000 a month, but you only spend $500 a month. And so you have it automatically set up there. At the end of the year, I've been making $1,000 a month. I'm only spending $500 at the end of the year because I hadn't spent it. My bank will automatically transfer it into my savings account. But let's say the next year, I know I'm going to buy a new car and I want to put a sizable down payment, or I want to do something to my house. I know that I don't have to go out and borrow the money because I have this money here in my savings account. So I'm just going to, in my budget, I'm going to say in April, I'm going to take $2,000 out of my savings account because I didn't spend it last year, and I'm going to put a down payment on a car. It's the same way with the CRA. They get TIF money. They don't spend it all, or they have not been spending it all for a number of years. And so that money just doesn't evaporate. It stays in their bank account, and it becomes what in accounting terms we call fund balance or what's left over. And so in order, because every year we're budgeting the new TIF money. In order to be able to utilize that money that did not get used, it has to come in as fund balance. That's a source of revenue that's saying, I'm taking it from my savings account, and I didn't spend it, over the last 5 years or whatever, but I want to spend it this year. I'm going to do something significant. And we have to bring it in from fund balance. So even though we're getting our regular TIF payments, we still have to bring in that fund balance amount. And because that fund balance amount has accumulated over a few years, we have to bring that in.
And
But it's
Commissioner,
still CRA money.
It is still CRA money,
I
but the
think that's-
CRA's
I wanted to
budget is a
clarify.
part of
Right.
our overall general budget. So when we're spending more in CRA, it looks like our overall budget has gone up, but it is CRA's portion of the overall budget that has increased
Because they haven't spent the money.
because
That's what I want to
the
clarify.
money is there in fund balance.
Uh-huh.
and Commissioner.
Okay, same difference. Haven't spent the money's there in fund balance, so hasn't been spent.
Has not been
Okay.
spent.
I just wanted to clarify that, but that wasn't my question why I had my hand up. I was just making sure I put that in there. I think a lot of this, if we could get deliverables, if we can get the deliverables on what happened from last year with our budget, how did we spend it, what was left, some type of narrative to help us clarify from one budget year to the next. We've asked for this, I think, a number of times, and that would be helpful to know exactly what we budgeted, what we spent, whatever along the way. Because we get it monthly, but we need something on this budget that kind of drives the train, so to speak, to tell us what were the deliverables, what did we realize from the last budget. I have been up here, I think my 3rd year, I've never approved or voted on a budget. Never have said yes, because it always seems that we are over projecting. And I know you're saying the CRA, the fund balance, I understand that, which, that money should be spent, then that would bring that overall 38,000 down, right?
Yes, ma'am.
If
We would not be,
actually- It wouldn't be that high. So if I subtracted that 832, I'm just using that one, I could subtract some other stuff, but that would bring that overall total down to less than that 38 million that we see.
that is correct.
Okay. So, all right.
Mr. Ash?
And Commissioner, that was one of the things we brought up in one of the earlier budget hearings, budget meetings. We were talking about the fund balance, and we'd asked about the possibility of bringing some of that money back, because in the 23-24 CRA budget, the fund balance, I believe at that time, was over $1 million.
It was like 840,000.
And of course, if you bring it back, part of it belongs to the county and part belongs to the state, but we were seeing that if we could have got that money, that would have balanced our budget at that time. It's still been a fixed measure to fix it for now, but at least we wouldn't have been taken out of the reserve fund. But at the time, there was questions whether the CRA could approve it, but the regulations rules were, so I never heard that back from the commission. And the other thing I do want to bring up, I have heard questions about what does the city produce, what does it make and everything. For the most part, you see it every day. You see the police, fire services, you see the what we contribute, keep the roads up, keep the lights on. There hasn't been much money besides grant money that's come across that's done anything about extensions on projects, building anything in the city for quite a while.
Ms. Daniels, you want to continue?
Yes.
You're on page,
We're still on page 1. If we look at the overall expenditures, and this is overall all funds, the major increase in expenditures is in personnel. And that includes not only salaries, but benefits, health insurance, life insurance, the portion that the city pays in dental insurance, as well as whenever we increase contractually on the public safety salaries, we also increase our obligation into paying into FICA and Medicare, as well as paying into their pension. So it's just not salary dollars. If I increase a salary dollar or by $100, I got to spend $7.65 also for FICA, and another $15.30 for their pension. And so that personnel includes all of that. We went down and operating, and that operating reduction includes several things. We reduced the expected revenue for our, and I just drew a blank there, it just went right out of my head. The contract that we have with, God, and I cannot think of the name that we get the money. Gulf Breeze. I was wanting to say Truly so much with Gulf Breeze, because when we had our presentation by the gentleman from Gulf Breeze, he told us that, due to these tariffs, there may not be as much construction going on next year. So far this year, we have received $195,000. We reduced that, being conservative, and we had budgeted $175,000 for Gulf Breeze. And when we budget that revenue, we don't budget it to spend in any department. It was going into our contingency funds, and so we reduced that by $100,000. So we only budgeted to receive about $75,000, and we reduced the contingency by that offsetting $100,000. And there are some other little small reductions we had in reserve. Last year when we adopted the budget, we removed a position, but we put that, because it was adopted at the last budget workshop, we put that salary for that position in reserve. And we didn't, so that it could not be spent anywhere. Well, that's gone away completely from the budget this year. So that's why you see that reduction there of $273,000. And there's some other little small things along the way. Capital, that $971,000, that is includes the catalyst projects in the CRA, because that's budgeted in a capital line. So that's the majority of that. I think we have very, very small capital items that even reach the level of being capital in this particular budget. Almost all of that is the CRA catalyst projects. And a small reduction in transfers overall. If we go to page 3, we can then get into the general fund expenditures by department. And so you can see overall the differences and things being budgeted overall in each department that is funded by the general fund. Starting with non-departmental, city commission, city attorney, city clerk, and those increases that you see in some of those first departments have to do with, you all voted to increase the salary, the range for the city manager. So we had to budget for that, so that whatever salary, there is funding available for it.
What's the increase in city commission?
Probably, that is changes in health coverage. I believe we have 2 new commissioners.
Oh,
And
okay, so some people have health insurance.
Somebody
Oh, I-
has health, some people have health
Well,
insurance
it's on the commission.
on the commission.
Oh, okay. No, I don't.
And one person has insurance where one of the outgoing commissioners did not. So that's a change, as well as the increase in the cost.
Yeah, it's a big increase. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And I didn't know whether you wanted to go through page 3 and 2 and 3 by department, ask some questions by department there, and that way we could then go directly to those departments.
You still on page 2?
She's on
Page
3.
2,
2 and 3.
2 and
So
3.
purchasing
3.
department, I had a question on that.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, has purchasing been a one-person department, or should that be under finance, or is it under finance?
It is currently reports to the city manager's office. It's a standalone, in the budget, a standalone department by itself. And that one person has been reporting to the city manager.
But that person has no supervisory role, responsibilities.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
So the question is, should it be a department? Standalone department is my question on that. Not for you, I'm just speaking maybe out loud.
It doesn't have to be. No, I've seen it different ways. Sometimes they make the purchasing agent independent, so they kind of an independent check onto all the departments, but it can fall within finances if there's no reason why it couldn't.
Just something to think about, since we're on that, page. And human resources, that's the 260. How many people work human resources?
We have 1.5 FTEs. There's still 2 people there, but half of the FTE for one person is split between human resources and customer service.
Human resources is on page 14.
So 1.5, and I think I saw that, but I was looking at the reduction. You had a variance of the 13,309. So I was just,
And what happened with that, because it was a last-minute change at the last budget hearing, in last year's budget, we moved the salary, but we did not move the benefits, the health insurance piece. So that would put the health insurance piece now on the half of that health insurance onto customer service.
Mayor?
would it be beneficial to maybe explain, like your where there's a reduced amount, increased amount, just something, a little blurb to the side? I think you did it in some places.
In some instances where
But
there
it's
would have
not
been
consistent
some
throughout.
questions, because we have a lot of that throughout the budget, moving pieces here, pieces there. It was just those things that you have the comments on where there was something new or additional in the budget.
That would be helpful, because I can just look at it, and it's right there. And I can flip through it. So, yeah. All right, thank you.
Commissioners, we have 3 minutes before our commission meeting starts. Would you all like to submit your comments in writing to Ms. Daniels so that our interim city manager
Squeaky. Yeah. I have no problem with you asking me specifically.
No, I was asking the dais. So that we can, at our next budget, have these things and answers provided by Ms. Daniels and the interim city manager. Commissioner Knight.
In the interest of time, do we just want to workshop the budget so we can have all these questions already ironed out?
We already have a schedule for budget workshops. I was just trying to give her heads up in terms of the kinds of questions or concerns that we may have on the dais so that she can better prepare.
And it would be helpful for me, if you have questions about a specific item as you're going through this budget, you can jot it down and email them to Mr. Ash so that when we come to the meeting, we can already have that research done and can provide an answer fairly quickly.
And I don't mind doing that, but I also have reservations about doing that. Because when you send things in writing through emails, shared document, it's something in writing. I don't like doing that. I'd rather bring to my concerns to the dais. This is a public forum, and I just feel more comfortable. That's me. So typically, you won't see me doing that.
And you have expressed
I've
that.
said that several times.
No
so
more
you know
times.
where I stand.
Exactly.
Okay, so I won't do that, but I will bring to the next budget workshop my concerns. And I'm sorry, not my concerns, my questions.
And
Mainly it was about that reserve fund. I mean, is there a plan B? Is that the only thing we can do? We can maybe look at some things there.
And we can look at that, we can look at some combination of that, because we may not be able to get to where we need with any reductions but so we could look at a combination of that. Mr. Ash and I are also available if any of you would like to meet one-on-one and address your questions, and then we can still address them in the public forum so that the public can hear.
I will agree that the reserve fund is a sensitive fund. If we would remember Hurricane Michael, one mutual aid cost us over $2 million, and we had several mutual aids that came to our rescue. So that having available money to be able to pay those who are coming to help us is a serious consideration. Mr. Ash.
Commissioner, I will send out the calendar for next month of all the meetings. You got to keep in mind, we do have a schedule when we have to have the budgets posted and advertised and everything, so I'll make sure you have that tomorrow.
This to be continued? Yes, as we prepare for our regular commission meeting. Thank you, Ms. Daniels, and thank you, Mr. Ash. We will take a couple of minutes to prepare for our commission meeting. Thank you. 6:07. Thank you for your attendance to the regular City Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 26, 2025 at 6:07. We have a substitute city clerk. Ms. Tribute is sitting in for us, and we appreciate her doing that. And so we call this meeting to order. We have an invocation by Chief Baker.
Chief Baker's not here tonight.
Okay. Do we have a substitute? Who?
Former Commissioner Elias.
Right. Oh, those, would you put, I'm sorry. We're going to have prayer by former Commissioner Derek Elias, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Merciful and gracious Father, we come before Thee right now with bowed head and humble hearts. We pray, O Heavenly Father, that Thou would turn your attention to the city of Quincy and to this meeting. We pray now, Heavenly Father, that Thou will bless each and every one of us as we try and make the city of Quincy better, a better place to live, play, laugh, and learn. We pray now, Heavenly Father, that Thou would just bestow upon us right now your divine intervention and wisdom. We pray, O Heavenly Father, that Thou would grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and Heavenly Father, we pray that Thou would just give us the wisdom to know the difference. In your name we do pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have the roll call?
District 1, Commissioner Dr. Wood.
Here.
District 2, Commissioner Knight.
Here.
District 3, Commissioner Hare.
Here.
District 4, Commissioner Stevens.
Here.
District 5, Chair Dr. Nash.
Here. We have an amended agenda, and I'd like to add 2 items, and Attorney Roberts will add the 3rd one. First one is number 8 would be interim city manager, number 9 would be city clerk, and Attorney Roberts.
Agreement with Talquin. We could add that to that agenda as well.
That'll be number
The
10.
city of Tal. Thank you.
What was number 9?
City clerk,
Okay.
with number 10 being Talcum agreement.
And I also like to add an agenda item if that's okay.
Number 11,
Yes, please.
what is it?
Commission leadership. Thank you.
Commissioner
Mayor,
Stevens?
I would move the amended agenda as further amended.
It's been moved in second that we approve the amended agenda. Are you ready for the question? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Motion carries. No proclamations. We have a special presentation, city manager recruitment by Mr. Ash and Mr. Ryan, senior advisor for the Florida City Council Management Association.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioner, I'm going to ask Mr. Ryan to come forth and give a talk about the city manager recruitment process.
Good evening. My name is Mark Ryan, and I'm a retired city manager, having managed 3 cities in Brevard County, Florida Space Coast, for more than 40 years, and I now reside in Tallahassee. I've been appointed a volunteer senior advisor with the Florida City County Management Association, and also by the International City Management Association. Senior advisors are retired city and county managers with lengthy experience who are respected within the public management field. We are appointed and we do not get paid. Above all, we are volunteers. I presented to you a memorandum that outlined various options for you to consider in the recruitment of your new city manager. The most important part of that document is the Florida City County Manager Search Guide. I urge you, if you have not read that, please do so. It is an invaluable tool as you venture down the road in the recruitment of a new city manager. To summarize the document, the guide provides 4 options. Number 1, the governing body can conduct the recruitment using in-house and the elected body members and staff, such as your human resource department. The interim city manager must also be considered as to whether he or she will be a candidate. And I say that because if there is an outside search, many candidates won't apply if the interim is in the process or being considered. So it'd be important to know up front if the interim is going to be considered for the job or if he or she wants to be considered. The second option is the governing body outsources with basically a headhunter to solicit and recruit and cover the process by themselves and provide you with candidates. The third option is the Florida City County Management Association, through the senior advisors, can assist you as a colleague in the recruitment process. I just finished last night with Madison. They were recruiting a city manager. We were able to get 31 applicants. They brought in, they named 6 semifinalists, performed the background checks, and yesterday they ended up interviewing 2 of the 6 because 4 dropped out. That's the nature of what we're experiencing in today's world. The next option is for the city to use a hybrid where you continue doing your own recruitment, but I would certainly be available to advise and assist you through the process. Not to the extent as if we were doing the search as a senior advisor. Again, senior advisors are not consultants. We're your colleagues. We're here to help you. But we're not going to run with the ball and do everything. We're going to work together with your team if you choose that option. There's no cost associated with the senior advisors providing that service except for any mileage, meals, or hotels associated with it. Well, I live 30 miles from here. There's not going to be a hotel. So, again, I've provided the memorandum. I don't want to go through all 6 pages of that document. It's not fair to you all. You have a busy agenda. Can I answer any questions you may have?
Any questions for Mr. Ryan? Commissioner Harris?
Is there a formatted process that you have outlined through your association for hiring a city manager that you could, I guess, send to us or that we could follow? Because we've kind of done this a number of ways since I've been on the commission.
Again, I urge you to read the search
Okay.
guide.
Okay.
There's some things in there that will guide you
Okay.
should you choose to go internal with the recruitment process. When I just finished Madison, not only did we advertise with the International City Management Association and the Florida League of Cities Jobs site, but I reached out to the Georgia Municipal Association, the Alabama Municipal Association, and the Mississippi City Managers Association to try to get applicants from that region, because that's not far from here.
Right. Right. Okay. And so what would it take for us to engage the association in our process? What would we have to do?
I would have to be invited.
Invited.
That's
Simply invited. No contract,
There's no contract.
Okay. All right, that's all I need to know.
And the other word of advice, if I could, regardless of how you choose to go.
Right.
In today's world, to post a job description or a little job announcement doesn't cut it. You have to market your community. You're selling your community to your applicants. You want to recruit the best and the brightest. And I urge you to take that advice. I gave you a couple of samples from the community that I retired from. Anyhow, Beach will be created, my recruitment, my replacement, as well as the Madison one that we just finished. That's my advice to you, and I'm able to answer any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All of God's
Appreciate you.
blessings.
Our next item will be comments from the audience. I have Ms. Regina Davis.
Actually, that was for the budget.
Budget, oh yeah,
So
I
I'm
see
not
at the top
sure.
you had scratched
Yeah.
out. Do you want to eliminate your comments here?
I can wait till the next budget workshop.
Okay, all
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't. Earlene Ely? Ms. Earlene Ely.
Good evening. Earlene Taylor Ely, P.O. Box 1131, Quincy, Florida. Madam Mayor, can I have permission to speak to the recreation? To the recreation director, but
For
I
the
don't
record,
see
you can
it.
speak to us on his behalf.
Well, I had a question. Okay, so
Got call out.
my concern is, whenever I come here, it's either concerning senior citizens or kids. Today it's the kids. And my question to, well, it's going to be to him, nice to you. How do you put a cap on not accepting kids in recreation? I was aware, it was brought my attention on yesterday that, especially cheerleaders, that they had been coming to sign up for cheerleader and they were told that they had enough. So the kids were sent away. And that kind of bothered me because I didn't think you could put a cap on it. You either hire more staff, volunteers or whatever, but not send them away. And so my question to you all, I don't understand that. How, I can understand if the season has started, you had ordered uniforms, the whole 9 yards, maybe. But to just say, we can't have but 30 and you got 45. And my other concern is the ones that have, I guess, okay to cheer, can't pay the fees because nobody's never at the center.
Staff not at the center, you're saying? Okay.
It was brought to my attention. Now, I'm telling you what was brought to my attention. I kind of, and so my concern is, that concerns me that kids are turned away. I thought, you know. And then my other question was I guess I can do a public request to find out about the paid staff and volunteers and so forth, because I'm curious to know, because apparently there's not enough if you're turning away kids.
Let interim
can
city manager do some research
I'll get that.
and get with the rec director on that, on your issues that you brought before the dais.
So how am I going to know? I'm curious because I want to know.
I'll call you directly.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Ely, would you put your telephone number on the information, please? And Ms. Tribune, would you clock for 3 minutes for our speakers? Again, each speaker has 3 minutes to make their comments. Thank you. Mr. Derek Elias.
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, Derek Elias, P.O. Box 2171, Quincy, Florida, Mayor and Commissioners. I was at the County Commission meeting on last week, and one of the things that they voted on was to move forward with the construction of the sidewalks on Adams Street. They actually awarded that bid. Now, it come before you all before because although the county seems to be in charge of the project, it seems like it would be more of a city project, but I understand how it has worked out. But when I brought this to your attention before, if you move forward, if they move forward with the construction of the sidewalks prior to that water main being installed on South Adams Street and or South Adams Street being repaired, I think it's just a waste of money if you put down those sidewalks and subsequently have to come back and dig it up when you get ready to put down that water main and or reconstruct South Adams Street, repave it. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention that the county had moved forward to had voted to move forward on that venture. Obviously, a lot has happened today with the arrest of the city clerk. A lot of people have been saying that this was going to come for a long time and perhaps there would be others. My comment now, not necessarily to the city clerk, but comes to you all as a board because a lot of these things were brought to your attention and you all are the first line of defense to a lot of things that go on. And sometimes you sort of stick your head in the sand and act as though things are not going on when citizens come forward and bring it to your attention. You also have some litigation going on. I'm aware of a case that was arbitrated, and the arbitrator gave some very, very, very strong recommendation. It appears as though that you all have chosen to litigate. So I'm just wondering, in cases like that, do you listen to your attorney? Do you listen to outside counsel? Because certainly if you can save money and avoid some things through arbitration, because it has its advantages, it allows you to avoid litigation. So I'm wondering, do you all vote on that? Is it brought back to you? Has it been brought back to you? I can give you specific cases, but I would like to think that it would be brought back to you and you all would rather go through the arbitration than litigation because it could be a lot less expensive. Again, you all are the first line of defense as to a lot of things that go on in this city. With regards to the arrest of the clerk, and there are rumors and allegations of others who might be implicated or incriminated, the employees do need to be made aware that they would not be retaliated against for their participation in an investigation or for providing any testimony. That seems to be a prevailing thought right now, and oftentimes you all have brought it up around this dais that employees should not be made to feel as though that they're going to be retaliated against and they should be able to speak freely. So I certainly encourage you to do that. And again, I'm saying this all in concert with you all are in fact the first line of defense and you all control how this city goes. And going back to the attorney thing and litigation versus arbitration, certainly I encourage you all to make sure that you all stay on top of that and not necessarily listen to just the attorney. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I have stayed at a Holiday Inn, and sometimes I feel smart. And sometimes I feel as though I could give you all just as much legal counsel as this attorney is giving, and I think you all are going to have to address that before long. And again, I'll just leave you with this. You all are the first line of defense. Thank you so much.
Yes. Denise Fletcher.
Talk fast. Okay. I'm Denise Fletcher. I live at 308 East Sharon Street. And I don't know about all that stuff's going on today. I want to talk about what happens in Quincy, okay? First of all, Mr. Ash, you have been wonderful in any dealings I've had with the utility department. So I hate for you to leave. So you've been wonderful. And the police department, the fire department, anytime we've had problems on our little street on Sharon Street, they are there 100%. And I posted on Facebook. I put pictures. So anyway, my concern right now is the homelessness in Quincy that's going on downtown. I walk with a group of women in the morning, and I know we go early, but we all have to go to work. But there are a lot of people sleeping on the benches downtown in Quincy. And they are aggressive sometimes, and It's just not good. We try to be polite and speak to them, but it's not good. So I don't know how we need to work on getting something done for that. I would love to be involved in a, community action group to help with that. Could we get them to Chattahoochee? I know they get Baker acted, then they come right back, so it's kind of like it's a revolving door. And they also affect our businesses. We want businesses downtown. That's what we want. So you've got these homeless people begging for money, throwing rocks at people's doors in their car, and that deters people from coming back. So I don't know what to do with it. I think it's probably something where the county and the city could work together, but that's an issue I would love to have seen worked on. And once again, I would love to be on a city commission for that, because we have a lot of new businesses. We're pulling people in to start businesses, but when they have a lot of homeless people sleeping outside their doors and asking their customers for money, it's not good. So I don't have the answer for that, but another thing that I would like to say is that when people see something, and maybe this could be if we start a community action group for downtown, if people see something, if you see trash on the road, stop and pick it up downtown. Don't just say, oh, they had a party and there's trash. You stop and pick it up, and if you see something that's wrong, if you see a homeless person not doing something right, you call the police. Don't just let it keep happening. But I'm here and I'm willing to help, so you'll have my number. All right, thank you. Thanks for all you do.
Ms. Fletcher, would you put your telephone number on the sheet as well? Oh, it's here. I see it. Okay. It's already here. Mr. Jimmy Nicholson?
Good evening, City Commissioners. I'm here, Jimmy Nicholson. I live at 412 Forest Drive, Quincy. I'm here representing the Gaston Arts Center Museum regarding the homelessness around the city square. We are empathetic to the homelessness, and as a 503c, we're keenly aware of the plight that they face every day. But we do have concerns, and the first of our concerns is the safety of our patrons and our staff. We've had an instance where a homeless individual has come inside the museum and wanted to use our facilities, and when they were not allowed to do that or asked to cease doing that, they became very belligerent toward our staff, and so we just wanted to bring that to your attention. We're also concerned about the negative impacts of homelessness on businesses on the square. We've been on the square for 30 years, going on 30 years, and we don't want to see any reduction in the number of patrons that visit downtown, because they spend their money here, and all businesses rely on the generation of income to be successful. And when we have had to utilize the services of the police, I will say they have been very prompt and have helped alleviate the situation short term, but we need to find a way to have a long-term solution to the homeless problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Suzanne Oldsby?
Good evening. My name's Suzanne Ownby. I live on Highland Avenue. A couple of things. First of all, I know it's been spoken of, the crackdown of the noise and the open container and the loitering. And I have issues with the lack of professionalism on your city council, making Facebook posts saying, hey, I'm going to the block, and then comments saying so-and-so, one specific member on your city council bought me a drink, mine ended up on the ground. I have that Facebook page, and I have screenshotted it, and I will share it with whoever. You are either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. My next question, or my next statement is, I really think our city needs help from Mr. Ryan's services. I think with the history of our past, we need help. And any help that's provided from the outside, I think, would be most beneficial for the city. And, you know, we're not exactly batting 100 right now, or 1,000, or whatever the baseball stat is. You know, I don't know. I like football. Anyway, we need to break the cycle of corruption. And I think we all just need to pull together. My last thing is my concern as well as with the homelessness. And I know in the past, and there's been people who said, okay, yeah, there's a big mental health issue. And I have brought up previously about we have 2 universities that have students that are majoring in, you know, that have majors that need internship hours with counseling. That would be a cheap, effective, easy way. Yes, it's not consistent like they need, but that's better than nothing. And also with my daughter and my sister, my daughter was, you know, confronted with a homeless person who was very aggressive toward her. And she came back looking at me, and so we were coming out of a restaurant, and one of the servers at the restaurant went out and had him go away, but he didn't really go away. We just kind of like stood there and just watched him till he went away, and then, you know, we did our thing and we left. But anyway, that was all I really wanted to say, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Beth Paget?
Hello, I'm Beth. I live at 33 Dothan Street, Quincy. I'm here to talk about the downtown jewelry store that we have.
Mayor, you actually have an item on the agenda, so if you could wait till your item.
You want to wait till your item?
Yeah, I can wait.
You can do that.
All right.
Uh-huh. We'll wait till I tell you. William Walker.
Good evening. William Walker, 1250 Tyler Sanders Road, Quincy, Florida. I'm here to talk about the forgery account. I know that there's a major lawsuits going on against the city. We want to know more about that forgery account that Dr. Nash, that we found out some more information that came out under our investigation. We found out, Dr. Nash, you said there was $20,000 some on the floor. We come to find out there was over $80,000 missing. You only deposit $27,000 into the bank. Commissioners, we want to know, are y'all aware of that? She done this unethical when she was the interim manager, where she was terminated for negligence of job. But we're here tonight to ask Dr. Nash, what are we going to do about this forgery account? Have you been contacted with any state agency you know of? Can you answer those questions to the public? We want to know what happened to the money, and why did you use your authority to not to let the diocese know about the money? This is a very serious crime that you committed. Do you have any comments you want to say? Talk to me about it.
I'm not going to talk, no comments to you, Mr. Walker, but that case is an active lawsuit.
Okay.
And thank you very much for your comments.
Okay, so this forgery account is under investigation by who you know of?
It's in a lawsuit, sir. It's in an active lawsuit.
So you can't talk, so you cannot talk?
It's been investigated by FDLE as well as Commission on Ethics. So thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? We have no ordinance. We have no resolutions. We're down to reports and requests from the city manager. Request to approve the use of the Weston Cemetery on Saturday, October 25th and October 26th, 2025 by the Quincy Main Street for their second annual History Mystery and Ghost Tour. Mr. Ash.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, this was done last year. They put on a ghost tour. I don't know how successful it was, but I guess it's kind of standard thing where they go and visit a cemetery and discuss the history and all. They're requesting the very same thing this year, allowed to be able interested in the cemetery and do the same type of activities.
Commissioners? Commissioner Stevens?
Mayor, I move to approve the request by the West Main Street for the Western Cemetery Ghost Tour on the 25th and 26th.
Second. It's been moved in second that we approve the request by Quincy Main Street for the second annual History Mystery Ghost Tour. Are you ready for the questions?
Comment.
Commissioner Harris.
I don't remember approving the first annual cemetery ghost tour. So I don't. So what they do? They just go in the cemetery and be spooked? I mean, what's going on?
They have produced several documents regarding
okay. Somebody come and tell us about it.
Thank you.
I just want to know a little bit more about it. I'm just saying, not that I'm against it.
No, yeah.
I don't remember approving the first annual one, so that's why it's just a little. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Joshua Keever with Quincy Main Street, the executive director. Last year we did the Eastern Cemetery, and basically we partnered up with the White Rabbit and the Quincy Music Theater to have actors from the Quincy Music Theater out there in like period costumes basically, and going over the history of some of the people that were buried there.
Which period?
Some of the historic figures in the cemetery, buried in those specific cemeteries. So it's a neat way to kind of showcase some of Quincy's, historical figures and heritage and stuff like that, some of our history.
Okay, all right.
And apparently it did really well. I wasn't able to go to it last year, but people had a lot of fun, so it's going to be a little bigger this year. And it's not like it has Ghost on there, but that's just because the naming convention, a lot of people do these kind of tours, but it's not like a spooky thing. It's during the day.
Okay, we have the motion on the floor. It's been second. All in favor of the second annual History and Mystery Tour sponsored by Quincy Main Street, say so by saying yes.
Yes. Aye.
Deny opposals? Approve. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Next is request for hurricane resistant roll down accordion style shutters for Paget Jewelry.
Yes.
Ms. Beth?
I'm Beth, and I'm asking for the roll-down shutters for Paget's Jewelers. There's a lot of activity, late-night activity sometimes downtown. Well, really, we even had a balcony, an overhang fly off, and just the little bit of wind that we had the other day and busted windows. So really for protection, just to protect the store. Sometimes I'm out of town for a week at the time, going to jewelry shows, and I request the downtown shutters over the windows to protect the store while I'm gone. And also, when it's just a lively night at 2 in the morning, to be able to roll down the shutters and secure the building.
Mayor, if I can give a little more background.
Yes, Mr. Ash.
This went before the Historical Committee, and the Historical Committee voted it down. They did approve the shutters on the side and the back, but they said the shutters would have to be on the inside, on the front of the building, so they wouldn't, distract from the appearance of the downtown.
Can I say, they loved it, they loved the idea, they loved the way the shutters looked, they agreed, they all said yes. Joel Sampson said he only said no because he thought that everybody else downtown would ask for shutters. I do not believe that all the other businesses downtown will ask for shutters. I think with what we have in the jewelry store is just a little more, needs a little more protection than a lot of the other downtown businesses. But to lock myself in and, have the damage, it would be too costly to frame up the inside to hold the shutters on the inside. So I am requesting, they saw the necessity of it. They understood my desire and the reasoning for it. They just didn't want everyone downtown asking for shutters and felt that this commission would be the ones to come to and ask permission for the shutters.
What she's referring to is being a jewelry store, it has a greater opportunity of having vandalism or robbery. I did put in your package, there is the regulation that says that it goes before the Historic Commission, and if the Historic Commission votes it down, it does then come to the appeal process before the City Commission. So that's where it's at right now, for consideration by the City Commission.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure of the dais. Commissioner Stevens.
Ms. Beth, first, I would like to say I'm sorry that it's taken you so long to get to this point. I know that you've tried for several months to get before the
Yes.
Historical Commission over the summer, and for whatever reason, they couldn't get it before.
Right.
Sorry for that. I think it's ridiculous, in my opinion, to say put a shutter on the inside of glass. That does no good. Permanent shutters are there to protect the glass and to protect entry.
Right.
And
Hold it there till the police get there.
And as you know, we were fortunate that Michael went 40 miles to the west of us. Otherwise, you would have lost all your glass probably. And I would move to allow you to move forward with the installation of the resistant roll-down and accordion style shutters for your jewelry store on the outside of the glass.
Thank you.
That's a motion?
That's a motion.
Second that motion. Are you ready for question? All in favor of the motion?
Question, concern. So did this, I just want to be clear, is this in contrary to what the Historical Preservation Commission recommended, or no?
I don't think it is. I think
It
they,
is in contrary to what the Historical Preservation Commission recommended?
It is, they voted not to approve
They
it.
did not to approve
the outside shutter.
they suggested inside, I believe,
On
instead.
the front of the building, they approved it, but the shutters had to be on the inside of the building, not the outside,
Not the outside.
as Ms. Paget has requested.
I'm a little conflicted with this, only because, and I totally understand. I get it. I think you and I don't know if you and I talked about the
Downtown.
planter that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was broken once before. So I totally understand what you're dealing with. I just have personally, commissioners, I just have an issue with undermining the Preservation Commission that we've established. And if we're not going to accept their recommendations, then maybe we need to do away with the Historical Preservation Commission altogether if we're not going to accept their recommendation. And I'm just saying that to say, if we decide tonight to allow, because I totally understand, and I don't want, I want
They
you.
felt this commission was a bigger commission, a bigger okay than for them.
Than them. I
Than for them.
totally get it, but we put them in place for a reason. It was prior to me. Personally, I want to see Quincy become the cosmopolitan city of South Georgia.
They are going to be
I
very
want-
good-looking shutters.
I want us to grow. You know what I mean? And so I've never been a fan of the Preservation Commission because I just, the antebellum South does nothing for me. However, I will support it, but I really want I want this commission to consider in the future taking a serious look at that Historic Preservation Commission and consider if we're going to move forward, because if we're going to start deviating from their recommendations, then we need to talk about their existence moving forward. Thank you.
They sent me to you.
Thank you.
And you have comments, Commissioner Wood?
So, the Historical Preservation Commission suggested having shutters on the inside of the store. And what did you say about the sides? 'Cause I was trying to read.
They approved that on any kind of side openings or the back, they said that it could be on the outside. The shutters could be on the outside of the building.
Do we have their recommendation in here? Is that something that's in the?
I don't believe I included that
They
in there.
didn't,
That's what I looked at, that's what they recommended.
Okay, I just don't want us to get to the point where every time if they say no, we come to the commission to get the yes. And if, I wish I had their actual recommendation in front of me. But I too understand the request.
It's for safety.
But I would love to have that, what was their overall concern about having the shutters outside?
Aesthetics.
You know,
They
just
want to
look
change
at
the looks of the downtown, they want everybody else to put shutters and change the looks of the downtown area.
And that's a real concern. It's a real concern.
Sure,
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Knight?
Commissioner Wood spoke on it. I was just curious of why they wouldn't approve the shutters to go on the outside. And I didn't know if you could speak to that at the present moment or.
They all agreed that there was a need for them. They don't think they look friendly when it's shut down. But when there's a mob of people out at 2 in the morning, and there's always a gun involved too, that makes everybody run with the mob, you know that. I'm looking for safety, security, protection. And they said, oh, well, Beth, you can put them on the inside. That way they'll look friendly. But Quincy isn't looking friendly at 2 in the morning with these mobs of people downtown either. I mean, I don't mean to be blunt, but I need it for security.
Any other comments, Commissioner Knight?
Thank you.
Okay, because we have a motion on the table.
Can I close on my motion?
Yes, Commissioner Stevens.
So, I think we need to do everything we can to make our businesses safe and secure downtown. We've heard a number of complaints tonight about homeless situation. And Ms. Magic, trying to carry on the legacy that their father started. And I would strongly encourage all of you here tonight to vote yes to allow her to do what she needs to do to protect her business in a safe and sound way. And it is, again, I just think wrong to suggest that shutters need to go on the inside of glass. They don't do any good. So that's why I'm supporting this motion.
The motion is on the floor. All in favor of the motion say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers?
I abstain.
The motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Harris.
I would like for, at some point, for this commission to revisit the purpose and the establishment of the Historic Preservation Commission, and if that's something that we want to seriously continue here in the city of Quincy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is the smart grid update. Mr. Ash.
Mayor, I do not see Mr. Goss here. He was,
And, excuse me, Mayor, may I make a correction? You said 4-1, it's 4-0 and 1 abstain. So it's 4, you got that, okay, because I didn't say no, I abstained, so that's.
Oh, you abstained, I'm sorry.
It's 4,
Thank.
Yeah, 0 and then 1 abstain.
Abstaining. Okay, I didn't get that. Thank you. I thought you had commented. Thank you for the correction.
like I said, Mayor, I don't see Mr. Goss here to give the presentation on the smart grid. I'll have to find out why he did not show up.
Okay. We're going to move on. No reports by committees, boards or committees. Our next item is social media broadcast by Commissioner Stevens.
Well, with Mr. Goss not being here, I don't know that we can have a discussion on it, but I had reached out to the interim city manager several weeks ago and asked, can we look at what the county's doing, the school board's doing, what it is they're doing that's making their broadcast so much better than ours seems to be, and were you able to come to any findings on that?
I can tell you what he told me, that he has recommended improving the system. He submitted requests for funding, and he told me that when he requested it last time, it was $30,000. Now, that's not the quality of the system which the county has. He says he personally knows that their system, when they bought it, cost over $100,000, but it would be an improvement of what we have now.
Okay.
But this time, we have not budgeted any money for any upgrades to the system because of the budget issues we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Commissioner Wood?
Thank you. I'm going to concur with Commissioner Stevens. We have to do something. Now, it may not be budgeted, but the squeaking and the squealing and people not being able to hear, that's unacceptable. There are some economical ways that you can broadcast that is not going to cost you thousands of dollars. I see churches broadcast every Sunday, and I can hear them, I can see them, they're very clear, and I guarantee you most of the churches are not spending millions of dollars, thousands of dollars. We need to research a better way of broadcasting to the public if we're going to have it. Otherwise, don't have it. But I just don't think we may not be able to come to the level of the county. However, I know we can do, if the churches are doing it, I know we can. So let's please, I know you're saying it's not budgeted, but there are some things that are worth fighting for, and this is one of them. We need to give the public something better than what we're giving them. Thank you.
Mr. Ash, would you put that back on the agenda for our next city
Yes, ma'am.
regular commission meeting?
What do we
So
put
that
on
we can have-
social media broadcast?
Yes, so that we can have some answers
I would like
to your concerns.
I would like to not just limit it to social media. I think I think it's most appropriate for our city commission meetings to be broadcast on our city website, because believe it or not, you're actually limiting our broadcast online to only those individuals who are Facebook users. And you have a lot of individuals who are just not Facebook users. They don't choose that platform of social media. So if we had a website, if we can broadcast our meetings on the city website, that's open to anybody. That's truly open government. That's open to anybody who has access to the internet. And so I would like to make sure that that's a part of that discussion. Thank you.
Commissioner Knight.
Do we still have access to the Quincy, the television, the TV channel?
I don't think so. Do you have any idea, Mr. Ash?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The TV station, do we have access to that? I don't
not sure.
believe so.
I'd have to find out.
No, they have to research that. Commissioner
I have,
Stevens.
I think, I don't have Comcast anymore. I cut that cord a long time ago. But I see people posting on Facebook that it's available on Comcast 1012, something or other, some numbers. But again, a lot of people don't have Comcast anymore. But I agree about, broadcasting it on the website, making it, and maybe that takes away our issue that we have with the Facebook. But appreciate all your comments and look forward to us fixing this.
Again, please bring an update
Yes, ma'am.
to talk about how we can make our social media and our broadcasting accessible and transparent to our public. The next item is homelessness. Commissioner Stevens.
And,
We have a comment from the audience as well.
And I appreciate those of you who came out tonight. I didn't ask anyone to come out and talk about the issue downtown, but I've heard about it from a number of you. I know that the interim city manager reached out to Chief Hill and had some conversations. Several months ago, I and some of the other commissioners attended a workshop, call it a workshop, that the sheriff hosted, and there were about 80 to 90 participants there talking about 4 issues. One of those issues was homelessness in our community and how do we address it. And, I think we all have empathy for those who find themselves in a situation that they are in. Some of them choose to be. Some of them choose to be homeless. Some don't choose to be, and it's for those people I feel the worst for. There was a mention about perhaps they need to be institutionalized in Chattahoochee. If Chattahoochee had any beds, perhaps they could be, but Chattahoochee is full. Our sheriff is now being paid by the state to house 4 people who have been committed to Chattahoochee at our jail. And they're looking at other ways to address that. And I know, Chief, you had responded back when I had raised this, I guess it's 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, something like that. And I know that there are certain times when y'all do take action and that person is removed. But, you send them to jail, they're going to get right back out. The issue, I think, with many of these folks are medications and getting off their meds. When they're on their meds, I think they act okay, but when they get off those meds, it goes south on them in a hurry. And once that happens to a mentally ill person, you can't convince them that they need to get back on their meds. It's, you just talk to the brick wall because they're mentally unstable at that point. I don't know. It's a tough issue. I don't know what the answer is. We don't have. I don't think we have a homeless shelter here. They have one in Tallahassee on West Tennessee Street. All you got to do is go out there it's on Pensacola Street, and see the trash everywhere. That because they can't stay there during the day, they have to leave and they go out and sit on Pensacola Street. So for the business owners downtown, I hear you. I think we all hear you. Ms. Fletcher, I like your idea of maybe pulling together a citizens panel, and that was kind of what was going on with the sheriff's organization, and I can't remember who was taking the lead following that, but they were putting together a group of folks that would focus on the homeless issue. And I'll follow up with the sheriff and find out who it is that's leading that particular group, and perhaps we can start having some discussions with them, and if any of you would like to join, I'll post on my Facebook page, on my district page, who that is and when they'll be meeting. So, but I appreciate all of you showing up, and I don't know, Chief, is there anything you want to add? I don't want to put you on the spot, but you were very kind in your comments when I had reached out.
Yes, sir, and thank you for that, sir. Yeah, it's a tough thing for us to deal with. Even this morning when I was coming into work, I had an individual in the middle of the road asking for money. And, I don't know if he was homeless or just, out and about. But the police department, we are aware of it. When the citizens and the business owners call us, we definitely show up and try to deal with it. I was thinking about maybe, looking at the sheriff's office and looking at their program and seeing if we can put something together. But the problem is that they got to want to volunteer for it. And so, and like you mentioned, that there are some mental issues there. So we'll continue to do everything we can, trying to make sure that downtown is a safe place for citizens to be and visit. But yeah, I'm open to sitting at any meeting or workshop to determine what can we do to solve the problem, long term. So, but yes, sir. Thank you.
Chief Hill. Ms. Davis, Regina Davis.
Regina Davis, 315 West Washington Street. Having helped revitalize Frenchtown, I'm very familiar with homelessness and the NIMBY effect of not in my backyard. So it is a challenge to do. Having said that, I want to go back because homelessness and the shutters, in my opinion, kind of go hand in hand. Owning two buildings, one on Adams and one on Madison Street, I now have to ask the question, because I did ask members of the historic board, and I got the same response. The solution that I had to do was to place ballistic glass on our building, which was extremely expensive. But what you've done tonight tells me that you may have set a precedence where I now can do what is being done. And my question then would be, do I need to go to the board given that you've given permission? That's the question I have. Thank you.
Ms. Mary Collins.
Good evening to you all. My name is Mary George Collins. My concern before Mr. Nixon, y'all had fired Mr. Nixon. Now, Ms. Janice gone, we had an agreement. The attorney, Mr. Gary Robertson, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, my mama deceased. We paid for her burial plot. She got put in the wrong the wrong plot. So, as the commissioner said, well, it was their mistake. Okay, I settled that, but it was hard on my family. It still is, because ain't nothing got settled. No one never got in contact with me after the two people that I deal with, not even the city attorney. Okay, what I'm trying to say, make a long story short. Okay, we moved my mom out of that spot. That was hard on us. Okay, the city commission and the city attorney agreed. The secretary, Ms. Janice, put everything in black and white that this was going to be settled. This is going almost another year. Okay, we, Mr. Nixon and Ms. Janice, got together with the attorney, city attorney, agreed that she would get a plot and she would get a headstone because she did 25 years in the city of Quincy. She retired from the city of Quincy. So, after everything y'all got going on, I understand that, but this is my mother I'm talking about. So I'm wondering, will all y'all get together, since all y'all on the same team, get together and get with my family and let us know what y'all agree to do, to come and give us family peace. That's all I'm asking.
Question: What exactly was what we were supposed to do? The headstone.
The headstone and the plaque.
And the.
And then.
And the slab. The headstone and the slab. Was that it?
Yes. Now, what happened? I did speak with the city manager. I think it was up to yesterday, and there was an agreement that was going to happen.
Would have had a meeting today. Would have had a meeting at 1 o'clock today. But Jenny said she was going to get with the city commission, the
city manager.
City manager, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
city manager, and inform him what was going on. So she saw an appointment for us at 1 o'clock today. We showed up 1 o'clock today, and he's like, the Clyde, whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about. So I ain't have anyone to talk to.
No, what I'm saying is that I spoke with the city manager, interim city manager, and the clerk, and there was an agreement that I agreed to with the city manager that this was going to be resolved.
Okay,
To your satisfaction, I communicated that, and Mr. Ash, you could pick up on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we didn't never hear nothing.
No, I'm saying you can.
From what I was told yesterday, there was an agreement put in place to pay the family a certain amount of money for the headstone and all. So,
Right. We supposed to have, yes, that's correct, and we supposed to, with all that doing, we supposed to pick out her headstone on her plans.
So
the meeting was today.
I am going to get with you and discuss it with you. Just like I said, I just found out about it yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to get contact.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So
I
I
understand.
just want to make sure, so we're gonna purchase, or we're gonna compensate? Compensate her, okay.
Okay, so you already have the, everything we had submitted before Mr. Nixon left, right? In black and white, right?
Now, I'm not here on the day-to-day operation of the city, but that was communicated to the city manager, prior city manager, and the current interim city manager.
Yeah, but Ms. Janice have all the paperwork.
And that will have to be determined by the city.
Okay.
I don't have this, but you're gonna be okay, man.
I appreciate that,
And I
thank you.
appreciate you.
Y'all
being
be
concerned.
blessed.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Collins, we'll get back with you. Thank you.
Mayor, did she leave her number on that form?
Yes, she did, and I'm going to give it to the interim city manager. Next item is, yes, Mr. Clary.
Larry, 1004 Brumby Street. First, I'd like to say that you really can't put a dollar amount on homelessness. I've been working in the field for over 40 years. I was an outreach coordinator at Meridian Behavior Healthcare in Gainesville for years. And I just recently took a job with Big Bend Continuum of Care as a street advocate dealing with homelessness. And I think one of the ladies mentioned, I think it would be best suited for the city to collaborate with agencies that deals with homelessness, like This Village, Appalachia, Gateway, and I'm familiar with all of these agencies. And I think an advisory board, voluntarily, advisory board would be, something that people can get together and discuss what they can do. Because like Commissioner Stevens mentioned, by the way, it's called the Kearney Center in Tallahassee, off of Pensacola, okay? And so there are other resources too that's available, but we're trying to, it sounds like you're trying to take on an issue that you don't really know a whole lot about. Because when you're dealing with homelessness, you're dealing with mental health, you're dealing with substance abuse, and a lot of the homelessness is related to one of these co-occurring disorders. So, I would be more than happy to serve on a little advisory board, and I'm sure, as the lady mentioned, she would too, maybe something, and then we can collaborate with these agencies and get their expertise on what we can do. Homelessness is with us. It's going to stay with us. It's not going to go away. But we can do things to reduce it or to contain it to some degree. Thank you.
The next item is the approval of the advertisement for the city-appointed Quincy Police and Fire Pension Board. Mr. Ash.
Yes, ma'am. We have a vacancy on the Police and Fire Pension Board. We actually reached out on the board to see if anybody knew anybody that would volunteer or be willing to serve on the board, and we got nothing. And so what we've done is we prepared an advertisement we sent out soliciting people to be willing to serve. That's basically it. Of course, they would have, that nomination would come back to the city commission for approval.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved and second that we approve the advertisement for the appointed Quincy Police and Fire Pension Board. Are you ready for the question? All in favor, say so by saying yes.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is the interim city manager. Commissioners received a email from Mr. Ash as the interim. Mr. Ash, would you like to make a statement?
I would. I volunteered to be in this position because I've gained some respect and care for the city of Quincy. One of the things that made it clear to the commission, I am not going to apply for the city manager's position. I've not been, and I'm still not going to. I just wanted to do it to help. I actually maintained my current position as utilities director and this job. Since I've been here, it's been a difficult time. It's a difficult time with people. I mean, you have things coming at you from all directions, legal things. There's lies told. There's backstabbing. There's a lot of stuff which is just a bad deal. There were things that were said about me, which are not true. There's things that said the interaction between myself, the mayor, and other folks in here that we were fighting and doing things. There's no such thing. I have not had any kind of bad interaction with the mayor or any other of the commissioners on the dais up here. All of them have been respectful. They've requested information through the proper channels, and I provide that freely. Now, I'm going to say that much of my concern has gone away today because one of the persons that I think that was doing a lot of the stuff to me, or saying a lot of it, is gone. And so the last thing I want to do is leave the city in a position where there's no leadership. We already have a vacancy now with the city clerk. We had to reshuffle. We are limited in staff. And so I am willing to rescind my resignation as interim city manager until a new city manager can be found.
Comments from the dais? Commissioner Stevens?
Do we need a motion to accept his rescission?
Yes, you do.
Can I hit the golden buzzer like we do on America's Got Talent?
Thank you, sir. I know it's been a struggle for many of us, and I appreciate your willingness to stay on and to get us through this search process. And so I would make a motion to accept the rescission.
Second. It's been moved in second that we accept the rescission of Mr. Ash's resignation. Are you ready for the questions? Pardon?
Roll call.
No problem. Roll call on the vote.
Commissioner Wood? Yes. Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Next item is city clerk. Welcome back, Mr. Ash. Thank you. All right. Our city clerk was detained today by FDLE, and escorted or transported to the jail by Quincy Police Department. And so we're faced with the dilemma or the situation of needing to have a substitute city clerk to do the work. And Ms. Tribute volunteered, offered her services this afternoon, but we're going to need some plan moving forward in terms of the city clerk and her responsibilities. Commissioner Harris.
Thank you. We do have a city manager, and I think that we need to, well, it is the will of this commission, but does the city manager have a recommendation to serve as a temporary clerk?
I have spoken with Ms. Joanne Kimball and the building and planning, and she is willing to serve this first time. Of course, you know, she is a one-person shop, so it does put a very difficult burden on her. But beyond her, I don't have anybody inside the city I can call on.
Thank you. And with that being said, I will offer a motion to accept the city manager's recommendation for Ms. Joanne Kimball to serve.
Do we have a second?
She served both roles.
Second.
It's been moved in second that we position Ms. Joanne Kimball as our substitute or person as city clerk during this period. Are you ready for the question?
Discussion.
Commissioner Knight.
With, I know that we're looking, a motion's been made for Ms. Kimball to serve in the capacity of clerk. Would that also be extended for an executive secretary role?
You mean to assume all her duties?
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
And the answer is no, it's not. I've asked, first off, the phones and everything to be directed to the another person within the city, because that would put too much of a burden on her to be taking all those calls and everything. So, no, the answer is no.
Will it only be clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Elias.
Thank you, Mayor. My address is still the same as it was about 45 minutes ago. But with regards to the appointment of an interim clerk, are you all taking any action to remove the current clerk, any formal action to remove the current clerk? And then my second question is going to be, what is your prescribed plan to move forward if you are in fact removing the current clerk who was, as you said, detained today? What is your plan to acquire a permanent clerk? Thank you.
We have not, yes, I agree we need to take some action, whether it be suspension or termination of our city clerk, and I guess that will be discussed.
So you're gonna be judge, jury, and execution? You're gonna be judge, jury, and execution?
I did not say I would be. I said it has not been discussed on this side.
Take action before we proceed.
I haven't taken any action, Commissioner Harris.
I don't know what you're saying, man.
No, I said it has not, if you had listened to
I'm
the
listening.
complete, no,
I'm
you
listening to
didn't.
everything you said.
I said action had not been taken.
You said you want to take action.
I did not say that. I say action had not been taken.
What you gonna do, man?
I said action had not been taken on suspension or termination. That's what I said. And lost my thought now, train of thought. We have a motion on the floor. Commissioner Wood.
Attorney Roberts, this is the time for you to advise the commission.
Yes, at this point, because she's been taken into custody, there is a presumption of innocence that is granted to her and afforded to her throughout the process until a jury comes back with a finding. However, she does work at the will and the pleasure of the commission. And the commission can act to a leave of absence, a suspension, or termination. I know that there's been prior practices within the departments to suspend someone until court action has been completed. I don't know what the will of the commission is at this particular point, but you do have complete discretion and autonomy basically over the city manager, myself, and the clerk as far as employment goes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Did you have public comment? Commissioner Wood?
No, I just wanted the commission to know what the options were from a legal standpoint. As we, making these decisions, I think that, at this time, we know that we need a clerk, interim or not, we need to have a clerk at this point to carry on the business of the city. But I don't know that, we're going to make a determination tonight as to where we move forward with it. But I know tonight we need a clerk. We need a clerk.
And that's the motion on the floor. All in favor of Ms. Joanne taking on the interim duties of the city clerk, please respond by saying, if in favor, yes.
Yes.
Opposers? The motion passes 5-0. Commissioner Stevens.
Mayor, I have an additional motion I would like to make.
I would move
Place Ms. Shackelford
on administrative,
leave without pay.
on suspension without pay.
I'll second that. It's been moved and second that we put Ms. Shackelford on administrative leave or suspension without pay. All in favor of the motion? Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
No.
Commissioner Harris?
No.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes. Motion passes 3-2. Next item is the TACWM agreement. Attorney Roberts.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We're up against a deadline, I believe it's August 30th. I was going back and forth with the attorneys for Talquin. There was just one issue with the mapping and spelling out the details, but we do have an agreement mapped out with Talquin. Just a brief history, we have a territorial agreement with Talquin. The city provides or electrifies within the city and outside of the city. That agreement expired in 1995 to 2010. The agreement, when it expired, no commissioners had brought it up or discussed when we're going to enter into a new territorial agreement. However, there was a subdivision that was going to get ready to be built, and that subdivision just happens to fall within Talquin territory and the city's territory. So a petition was filed with the Public Service Commission from Talquin to determine who would electrify this division. The Public Service Commission encouraged the city and Talquin to work out an agreement, and the City Commission empowered Mr. Ash with myself, but with Mr. Ash to work out a tentative territorial agreement to be signed by the Commission on approval after that agreement was worked out with Mr. Ash, myself, and Talquin. That agreement hasn't been worked out, and it was not placed on the agenda. However, we're up against a time constraint. Mr. Ash has had an opportunity to review it, and I'll ask for his input at this point.
The agreement actually is basically the same area which we had before. We did gain a little territory because we modified the agreement going through property lines, because the old agreement, it appeared that how they drew it out, they drew point from point and just drew across the countryside, so they cut lots and property into different sections. So we agreed that that would not be the best way for when the land developed, because there's still split possible developments. one of the items that came up for contention in the negotiation was there were 4 areas in the original agreement which have Talcon lines within the city's territory. And supposedly back in the time when the old agreement was in effect, the city was supposed to take over the customers in those areas, which they did not. So Talcon was proposing taking those customers and keeping them and transferring that property over to them. We pushed back strongly against that because it would have been a loss of quite a bit of the territory for the city of Quincy. They finally agreed, and we put the provision back in there that the customers will become city customers. There is a time limit, and we've already started working as far as looking at what's going to have to be done to transfer them over. That will be a net gain of 41 customers to the city of Quincy. And also in that subdivision which was mentioned, we did retain one of the areas, one of the phases of that subdivision. So basically, we retained our territory with a small gain, and then we pushed them out, being not able to take the territories where their customers were, and we'll be able to transfer those customers over to us. So we lost nothing and gained something.
And my recommendation is for the city, the commission, to vote to allow Mr. Ash, the mayor, and myself to sign the agreement.
So moved.
It's been moved and second that city manager, the attorney, and the mayor be given permission to sign the TACOM agreement on behalf of the city of Quincy. Are you ready for the question? All in favor, please say so by saying aye. Aye. Opposers? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And thank you and Mr. Ash for the work on the TACOM agreement.
Thank you.
Commission leadership, Commissioner Harris.
I request to have that item agenda for the next meeting, please. Thank you.
Okay, item for next meeting. We have the item of old business. I know we have some, but we don't have a list on it. We may need to come back to that. Comments, we have our city manager.
No comments, Mayor.
Our substitute city clerk, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, I do have some comments. For the record, just so we have a clear understanding, employment cases, such as the one mentioned by an audience member, does not come before the city attorney. The Florida League of Cities, for decades, are the only ones responsible for settling those particular cases. It doesn't come before an executive session. The Florida League of Cities also hires outside counsel. The city of Quincy pays a $10,000 deductible. They pay all the settlement that goes along with it. As far as any arbitration, any cases of that nature, even if the city attorney suggests that the case should be settled for whatever reason, it is ultimately decided by the Florida League of Cities without the intervention of the city commission. Just want to make that clear. Again, the Florida League of Cities and the outside counsel are the ones that make their determination. Now, the agreement with Talcon is handled in-house, so I get to make those decisions. It gets to come before the city, and also breaches of contracts, injunction, mandamus, redistricting. But anything involving employment retaliation, discrimination, anything like that is handled exclusively with the League of Cities and the attorneys of their choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Roberts. Commissioner Knight.
Yes, I just want to leave the public, the general public, with this long-standing quote, innocent until proven guilty. I don't wish downfall on anybody. Just want the recent events of everything that happened today to play out in the court of law. It's a sad day for our city. We don't wish anything like this to happen, but of course we must keep moving forward. The last thing I did want to talk about that was mentioned in a couple of meetings ago was the street sweeper. Any progress on that, or because a lot of citizens have raised that concern? Ultimately, they are paying for a service that they are no longer receiving.
Mayor, I can update
Is,
that.
Mr. Ash?
The street sweeper was totaled when the truck hit it.
You said totaled?
Totaled.
Total.
So we're actually, I've already gotten estimates and gotten it to a company that's rebuilt it. It's going to be out of service approximately 3 months before we can get it back. The vehicle that had it did have insurance, so they will be covering the cost of rebuilding the street sweeper.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And my comments, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Knight. Commissioner Harris?
Thank you, Mayor. No comment.
Commissioner Wood? No comment. Commissioner Stevens? I have no comments as well. So may I have a motion to adjourn? So move.